if this form is called point slope, that means I need a point. Well, I've got 2 points, so I'm good there. I've got a point. But I also need a slope. They didn't give me the slope. We can find the slope because we know a formula from about 2 or 3 days ago. So our step 1 is going to be find that slope. All right, that's the first thing you have to do because you want point slope form. I know a point, I don't know the slope. All right, I'm going to label these x sub 1, y sub 1, x sub 2, y sub 2. Okay, so our formula, I'm going to write the formula out since it's been a few days since we've done it. Y sub 2 minus y sub 1 over x sub 2 minus x sub 1. Okay, this is the formula we did on the very first day. So I'm going to have a negative 5 minus a 3 over a negative 1 minus a 2. All right, that's going to give me a negative 8 on top and a negative 3 on the bottom. Negative divided by negative? Positive. So my slope is a positive 8/3. So I know my slope. Okay, so that's one of the 2 things I need. I need a point and I need a slope. Now, it doesn't make any difference which one of those points you pick. I have a tendency to always just use my first point. Okay, so I have a point, I have a slope. If I've got a point and a slope, I can write point slope form. Because I put in, when I put the points in, I put them in opposite. And when I put in my slope, I just put in my slope. All right, so the next thing you're going to do is write, now you have enough information to write point slope form. All right, I am going to write those, since this is new, I'm going to write down the whole entire formula. Y minus y1 equals mx minus x1. Okay, so our points go here, our slope goes here. We said our slope, which is a number we calculated, is right there. So I'm going to put a y here. All right, if I go to put in the point, I'm going to look at this first point, and I'm going to take the y coordinate and do the opposite. So I'm going to put in a negative 3. My slope, I keep the same slope, so I'm going to put in the 8/3 that I calculated. All right, and then I'm going to have the x. When I put my x coordinate in, I remember to do the opposite. This is a positive 2, so I'm going to go a minus 2. All right, so then there's that answer, which is actually one of the things you had to do. Write an equation for the line in point slope form. All right, I've got point slope form. Now, we converted, I think, slope-intercept form to standard form. I think we went standard form to slope-intercept form. All right, you can algebraically manipulate any of these going any direction. All right, I need to get to slope-intercept form. That's my last step. Write it in slope-intercept form. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and write slope-intercept form. I'm going to do it. And do we remember this one? Slope-intercept form is the y equals mx plus b, which means I need a y on the left-hand side by itself. I need my x term on the right. I need a number on the right. All right, now I'm going to start with what I have here, and I'm going to do algebra steps to get there. So I've got a y minus 3 equals an 8/3 and x minus 2. All right, now there's a variety of ways that we can do this. I think I'm going to go ahead and have you distribute that 8/3 because we like distributive property. We see a set of parentheses. We know to distribute. All right, even though that's an 8/3 and the math will sometimes work out, sometimes it won't work out nicely. All right, so I'm going to have a y minus a 3 equals 8/3 times x is just an 8/3 x. Okay, now the 8/3 times 2. All right, that is, you're going to have to remember from middle school how to do fractions, or you're going to have your calculator that does fractions on there. But over here, I'm going to show it to you. 8/3 times 2. Should I write 2 as 2 over 1? Yep, and when I multiply fractions, don't I just multiply straight across top? So 8 times 2 is 16, 3 times 1 is 3. So when I multiply 8/3 times 2, I get 16 over 3. And it's a negative because of that negative right there. So a negative 16/3. Okay, so numbers are not necessarily nice, but if you had a calculator, you know how to do this by hand, you can do that. All right, now, am I in slope-intercept form yet? No, because right there is a negative 3. I got to move it over to the other side. So I've got to add 3. All right, so I'm going to add 3 here. I'm going to add 3 here. Alright, negative 3 plus 3 goes away. Okay, now I'm going to have a y equals an 8/3 x. Now I've got to do this math. Again, I'm going to come over here and show it. You either use your fraction button on a scientific calculator that you know how to do, or you do it by hand. So negative 16/3. Alright, I got to add 3 to it. But I better make it 3/1, right, from middle school, because I got to have 2 fractions. Now, when you add or subtract fractions, what do you have to have on the bottom? Common denominators. Alright, which means that I've got to change this fraction. I'm going to multiply it by 3/3 because 3 is my denominator here. So really, this is 9/3. Okay, so I'm running out of room here. So I'm going to go this way. So I'll have a negative 16/3 plus a 9/3. Now I can add those. Negative 16 and 9 is... Negative 16 plus 9 is... Negative 7. Okay, so a negative 7/3, because then I keep my bottom number. Okay, so then this is a minus 7/3.